have to say, Telecom Review Summit brings two things at the same time, which is very unique. One is the content, and the other one is the networking piece. And the networking is amazing. Like in the content, I don't believe I've missed a session, which is I can't say that for other shows or conferences I go to, but I've been here at almost every session. And the networking has been quite amazing, right? Looking at the wide area of vendors. Like you do have an end-to-end ecosystem from governments to operators to suppliers to users. It's quite good, and the size is small, like under 500 people. And I think you guys, people at Telecom Review, strive to keep that networking at a high caliber rather than build on the success by opening it to 1,000 or 2,000 people. This is my second, and there's some people I recognize, and I look forward to my third and fourth. So as long as the caliber stays the same, the venues stay the same, and the networking stays the same, this is an amazing conference. I think what was amazing was we had the same title, well, the same objective, which is better health outcomes. But it's the three ways of approaching it. One was, mine was technical, how the technology can enable it. The government was more of a framework and a plan. And Dr. Khoury was also unique because he's a physician and at the same time the head of the top researching university in the Middle East. It was amazing how we all came together to the same objective, and we rallied around the same thing, that the key is to make people's lives easier in the end. Whether the objective is to make money, save money, or get a better health outcome, in the end is to benefit what we're doing. And it was truly fascinating compared to other panels who were also very good in their own way. But it wasn't differing views. It was actually a completely different approach to the same problem. And I think you found three areas that have to be completely complementary or nothing will happen. So I think what our panel brought together is if the government, academia, and the private sector are not singing from the same hymn sheet, everything is doomed to failure. And we were a good example on how it could go either way. Put a chart on Canada, but the attempt in all our conferences is not to market what we do as TELUS or as Canadians. We're very famous for not bragging about it, but our journey in health started 10 years ago in Canada. And we felt with integrating all the provinces, by adhering to the government guidelines, it's critical to take all of that and put it in a framework. We did it for our own technical sanity as Canadians. And we felt that we'd like to export that whole understanding to the rest of the world. So we talk about a global health exchange. We don't talk about TELUS selling software. We talk about selling that whole framework, selling that concept, so every country can innovate in their own domain, which is similar to what we talked about. So that's what we're doing, is we're taking what works for us, and we're trying to find out where are there global standards. Because not one country will survive alone. It'll be too expensive for any country. The richest country in the world cannot support the lack of global innovation. So this is a critical thing. So we've got our own health record. We have e-prescribed software to link your dispensation of pills, pharmacies, remote patient monitoring. So if you look at it, we have around 37 plus offers, let's say 40 in the health space. But if they all don't link around a patient or around the government framework, then they don't talk to each other. And that's a lot of what we're doing, our efforts, our investment to make sure they do work. But more importantly, bring your own. Like let's say somebody in Holland says, oh my God, you Canadians have it right. And tell us you have it right as a provider of health. Well, it'd be stupid for them to replicate everything we've done. Why don't they take it? And we've designed our software to have a core element and then to have an add-on, which is to personalize for a specific country. And that's the vision for all our software products, not just the health products. It would make things difficult if you digitize the future without defining what the end outcome is. If I may elaborate. If you say, oh, well, I do 16 things today, and I need you to do 16 things tomorrow, then you would end up with each provincial record doing its own thing, or health. But if you sit down and take a step back, and that's why I mean working in concert with the government is critical. It's a consultative process. and saying, what are your end objective? Forget about your 16 steps today. What are you trying to do? And work with them. Two things would emerge: the personalization piece, the specific piece to a certain province or region, and then it would help us define what is the common engine. And you would be surprised how this common engine would actually work for every other area if it's designed right with the right specs. The key is to remove the personalization aspect, not the customization. Each country will have to customize, and then within each country, each hospital will have to personalize. But that does not mean we need to write end-to-end software from scratch.